Hello and welcome back to my vlog. Trying again here. Ran out of battery or something. I was having a hard time again deciding what I wanted to do, and I thought I need to take action, which made me think of the book Action, Nothing Happens Until Something Moves by Robert Ringer. I'm going to be pretending like I'm Obama and reading off a teleprompter, except mine is on my laptop, which is down here. You know, if I'm not looking at you, it's because I'm reading and I don't have a real nice teleprompter behind my camera like Obama does. Let's see if I can get through this in under 8 minutes. Because they're just pieces parts. This is, I don't have the book. I've checked it out of the library. Chapter 1 is probably one of the more important chapters of any chapter I've ever read in any book about self-improvement. So, and here I am smacking my lips. One of these days I'll get over that habit. Let's see if I can, I'm going to skip around, and there might be a couple of little scrolling pauses here, because this is the Amazon where you can get a few pages for free. First with a quote. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did do. Mark Twain. I have always believed that the difference between success and failure in any area of life is not nearly as great as most people might suspect. I have also been consistent in my belief that the slight difference between the two is primarily a result of whether or not one practices certain success habits that are based on universal wisdom, or, in simpler terms, common sense. As the years have passed, however, I have increasingly zeroed in on action as the most important success habit when it comes to determining how an individual's life plays out. This life-changing conclusion evolved as a result of 4 key insights that gradually fit together in my mind like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. These insights, which have had a dramatic impact on my life, work in concert with one another to make action an awesome tool that gives a person the capacity to overcome virtually any obstacle in his path. Insight number 1, nothing happens until something moves. Nothing happens until something moves are the words of the greatest scientific mind of the 20th century, Albert Einstein. The theory of relativity may have been Einstein's most important contribution to science, but these 5 simple words, nothing happens until something moves, comprise his most important contribution to me. While his observation is an indisputable scientific fact, there is no doubt in my mind that it applies to all other aspects of life as well. Ideas can be precious commodities that can change the world. Sound preparation is invaluable, and knowledge and wisdom are essential when it comes to giving one an edge in the pursuit of great achievements. But ideas, preparation, knowledge, and wisdom are all but useless without action, because action is the starting point of all progress. In other words, an idea of and by itself has no intrinsic value. It must be accompanied by action. It is action that cuts the umbilical cord and brings an idea out of the womb. I can assure you that Fred Smith, founder of Federal Express, wasn't the only person to come up with the idea of starting an overnight delivery service to compete with the woefully incompetent U.S. Postal Service. The reason I can make such an assurance is that I myself thought about the concept for years, especially whenever I would have to send a secretary cross-country to hand-deliver a document that needed to be in someone's office the next morning. And he goes on to talk about Fred Smith was the one who took action on the idea, and talks about a couple other people in similar circumstances. So let's move down here a little bit. They leave out some pages in this. As I have narrowed my focus to the phenomenon of action, it has become even more apparent to me that the very essence of life is action. Inertia, resistance to action, is anti-life. Except in horror films, corpses tend to be extremely inactive. I don't recall where I first heard the following parable, but it certainly is profound and appropriate in any discussion about the importance of action. Every morning in Africa, a gazelle wakes up. It knows that it must run faster than the fastest lion, or it will be killed. Every morning in Africa, a lion wakes up. It knows that it must run faster than the slowest gazelle, or it will starve. It doesn't matter whether you're a lion or gazelle. When the sun comes up, you had better start running. As human beings, we find that we too had better start running at the crack of dawn if we're serious about making life a meaningful journey. A stress-free life sounds nice in theory, but in reality there is an inherent urgency to life. For one thing, life is finite, and you don't even have the advantage of knowing when your supply of finite time will run out. Second, life is competition. And he also mentions here that he doesn't think you should think of today as the first day of the rest of your life. He thinks you should think it could be the last day of the rest of your life. And then he talks about homeostasis. We're skipping down here, skipping, because I want to get to this important part before I run out of time. Let's see. Insight number 2, God helps those who help themselves. And he talks about different concepts of God. Atheistic randomness, he even puts in there. Humanistic self-determination. We're going down, scrolling down. Self-determination and the cosmic catalyst. As the years have passed, I've become increasingly impressed with 2 phenomena. The first is the remarkable capacity I possess to determine the outcome of my life. For those of us who are not humanists, our secular consciousness, which includes our ability to observe and interpret both history and our own experiences, clearly suggests that we are able to exert a considerable amount of control over our destiny. The second phenomena is the outside forces that always seem to come into play whenever I take action. The bolder my action, the more powerful these outside forces seem to be. If man has the power to play a major role in controlling his own destiny, logic would dictate that he also has to have a power source. Secularly, most people refer to this power source as God, Allah, Yahweh, and a variety of other names that are language-based. And quantum physics is also chiming in on this right now. Because I have no secular explanation for this power source, I choose to refer to it as the cosmic catalyst. This is just another language-based way of describing what I perceive to be his relationship to human action. Then they leave out a couple of more pages, and he mentions Woody Allen's 90% of life is just showing up. Absolutely fascinating how often good things happen to me when I do nothing more than show up. Just landing on someone's doorstep can dramatically change a person's success equation. This is not to imply that you will succeed every time you show up, but showing up is the first step toward success. Keep in mind that nothing can happen until something moves, so it's nice to know that you are in control of whether you take the first step. However, I would modify Woody Allen's observation and suggest that perhaps only 45% of success is showing up, while another 45% of success is asking. Asking is the simplest, most efficient, and potentially most rewarding action a person can take. I've become such a believer in the power of asking that I am compelled to share with you my 10 never-fail rules of success. Rule number 1, ask. Rule number 2, ask again. Rule number 3, ask again. Rule number 4, ask again. Rule number 5, ask again. Rule number 6, ask again. Rule number 7, ask again. Rule number 8, ask again. Rule number 9, ask again. Rule number 10, I better check. Ask again. I never cease to be amazed by how many times I've achieved results simply because I took the trouble, and in many cases had the gall or audacity, to ask. And kept asking until I got the yes I was after. As I have repeatedly told my employees over the years, if you aren't a pain in the ask to people who are lazy, negligent, and or just love to say no, you aren't doing your job properly. Don't get me wrong, asking does not work 100% of the time. That's not what it's about. Asking works in conjunction with the law of averages. Probably the most important sentence in the most important chapter in this book. So I'll read it again, just so you're clear. Asking works in conjunction with the law of averages. The law of averages makes time your ally instead of your enemy. Asking is an incredibly powerful tool, and even more powerful if you understand the importance of asking again and again and again. And I really needed that reminder, so I'm glad that I thought of that when I was trying to think of what to do and thought I just need to take action. And why don't you take action and ask yourself this? Did you make it a great day? Bye for now.